Now streaming live, Full Velocity TV begins now.
Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in for the wildest thrill ride of your life. So grab a snack and sit back because we're about to throw it down.
We've got the best three-wide action door-to-door racing on the turn number 4 you'll find on iRacing, right here live on the Full Velocity Racing Network.
We are about to crown tonight's champion, and it's time to let her dig.
We're restacked and repacked off of turn number 4. Who's it gonna be?
And your source for esports racing is live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Full Velocity Racing Network, live tonight from the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Thursday night means it is time to go pavement racing with our friends over at EastWest Promotions. The Modified Tour rolls into the Myrtle Beach Speedway for 100 laps tonight, and we are really glad you've tuned in this evening via Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Hello, everybody. Phil Lacasse here. Jack chewing on the controls, and my special guest here this week, and hopefully going to be a little bit of a mainstay here on Thursday nights with me from time to time, Our good buddy for the Bottled Up Podcast, our friend Jeff McConey, joining us tonight here for a little bit of modified action here. Something you and I think, both know quite a bit about, Jeff, and I am really happy to have you aboard. Welcome to Full Velocity this evening, my friend.
Thank you very much. It is an honor to be here. I'm excited. I've been a part of these races before with EastWest. That is some of the hardest, most intense racing that I have seen here on iRacing. I've done, over 1,000 races on iRacing, and these are always the best. So I'm really excited. And yeah, we share a common stomping ground over at Stafford Motor Speedway. So if any of you people watching happen to be at the track, maybe last summer, you might recognize the voice. It might sound a bit familiar. I work down on pit road with the whole Stafford crew there, the Arute family. They hired me on last year, and it's been an absolute pleasure. I'll be back next year, but let's get down to business here. Qualifying is just wrapping up. It's going to be an exciting race here, I think.
It certainly is. It's going to be a great night as we have heat racing action to come. I believe maybe a consolation race and then a 100-lap main event around this 0.54 mile Myrtle Beach Speedway here in beautiful state of South Carolina, right on the coast, and terrific facility, as Todd would say. A shade over a half mile we have here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway is qualifying, about to wrap up, about 30 to 45 seconds away. Gives us a chance to thank our sponsors here at the Full Velocity Racing Network. Of course, got to thank Hanover Record Service. Their last night with us here tonight, our official caution flag sponsor. Certainly to miss Tyler and the gang, but wish them all well in their future. Also going to thank our buddy Jeff Brown over at iRacingIFlag.com. Brian and Kathy Voiles over at Voiles Truckings. Our buddy Tim Cummings and all the gang over at J Max Journeys and CCM Custom Designs and Engraving. Also going to say hello to the gang over at BladeNo.com. Simple web solutions powered by nerds. Check them out today. Also, thank you to the likes of the South Texas Speedway. Our buddy Scott Bargloff down there in Corpus Christi, Texas. They are a great bunch. Love follow what they do. Also going to thank Charlie Miller, Miller Media and Design, the TDR Racing League, Team Har Motorsports, Trash Panda Graphics, JP Designs, and 3D Racing. Part of the great profile here on the Full Velocity Racing Network is we have a good car count on hand, 2 heat races to go. We're going to put 12 laps on the board here. Top 7 will be guaranteed to the main event. Let's take a look at a Voiles Trucking starting lineup and on the pole this evening. Tonight's Har Motorsports quick time, 17.126, belongs to car number 16, Dave Bodio, and alongside the number 32 is Trevor Edwards. Row number 2, the number 14 of Chris Forster with the number 89 of Stephen Rogers on the outside of row number 2. Third row, we find the 18 of Rick Webster with the number 38 of Scott Bryant making up row 3. Fourth row, the number 99 is Glenn Pressel. The number 17 of Billy Porter scheduled to roll off 8th. Foe 5, we find Junior Harville, the number 41. I see my broadcast colleague, Jeff McConey, listed here on the outside of row 5. I don't believe Jeff's on the speedway, which may or may not be a good thing. He may try this one of these days and do a whole lot better than me. And rolling, scheduling a shotgun, don't believe he's going to make it here for the heat race. Is going to be the driver of the 7. Kurt Vigent looks like out of the 11, only 8 going to show themselves onto the racing surface. 12 laps around, and you got to think the pressure almost is off here with a field size about 16 to 18 cars. You got to imagine they're all going to be a part of a 100-lap main event there, Jeff. And what do you think they're doing out here for 12 laps? Is it about gaining track position if you're toward the back of this one to get a better start for the feature? Or are you just out there kind of feeling out your setup, getting your stuff kind of right? What are these drivers experience right now as they get ready to head trackside?
It all depends on where you're starting. I guarantee you the 16 and the 32, they are just sitting there and they're going to go out. I bet you the 32 is going to try and fall in line. I bet he doesn't even care if he falls in line behind the 14 who's starting on the inside with him. He just wants to hold his position. But if you're towards the back, maybe you're starting back with the 7, or you're starting in 9th place with the 41, that's where you're starting to get nervous, because it's 7 that make the race. And if you're starting back there in 9th, you've got to get going, and you've got to get going quick. Only 12 laps. Sounds like a long time, but at a half-mile track, 0.54 miles, it's really not. So if you're towards the back, you are fighting for everything you've got. I'd say 6th and 7th on back, they're the ones that are going to be making the big moves early.
Believe you're absolutely right. 12 laps around. So it feels like kind of a long extended heat race, but at 17 and a half seconds a lap, or probably better than that even. They'll really get this place zooming around. You look up front, you think back of 1 week ago, we find that number 16 of Dave Bodia was up in the top 3, got caught up with a lap car, ended up having to fight from behind all night long, never made up that track position, finished way back in the field. I believe he finished like 17th last week, so got to imagine Dave Bodia is a guy going to be on a mission here tonight. Trevor Edwards had a really good race last week. Chris Forrester looking to rebound after late issues last week as well. Steve Rogers, who came within 2 laps of winning his first ever race over here at the East-West Modified Series. I mean, God, so many great stories to follow. Gonna love following, carrying on with this league on Thursday night, so the next couple of months gonna really have a good time with it. Is modified racing is right in my wheelhouse. I'm glad to have a guy like Jeff McConey from the Bottle Up Podcast. We go under the iRacingIFlag.com green flag. Dave Bodia will lead the field now for the first time off turn 2.
Well, it's like I said, that 32's fallen in line behind the 14, and it is just getting into a single file line, but the further you go back, that's where the better racing is. Now it's just for the front 3 guys, making sure their setup's good, making sure they didn't miss something in practice, and most importantly, staying off those bumps in turn 1 and 2, because that will ruin your race really quickly.
And so you got to talk about those bumps as well. You got these, really low to the ground. These cars sit these Whelen modifieds. You bottom out through there. Normally a stock car you'll wash up the hill. One of these cars, it almost takes like a 4-tire glide off the ground. Makes it really a handful. The good news is we have these big wide tires that kind of aid us keeping into the racing surface. But man, a place like Myrtle Beach, we got one around. We got a car around at 3 and 4. Believe we're going to stay under green, but was that the Scott Bryant third? No, it was Rick Webster in the 18 that went around over there. So those guys are racing hard and heavy. You said the good racing to at the back of the field, and we caught some right there.
Yeah, the 99 Glenn, he just got a little bit loose going into 3, drifted up the track event and caught the 18, but everyone's going to keep it clean. Now you get into the crazy position. The transfer spot is right on the 17 of Billy Porter, so he's got to just maintain that 6-second lead over the 18.
And so far, so good there. So top 7 of the 8 are going to guarantee their way into the main event, but I'm going to think the car count here, I'm going to make the guess that we're probably going to bypass over a consolation round and probably go right in the main event. I may be wrong. I've been wrong many times before, but if I had to make an educated guess, I think that's a worth direction we may go as we put halfway on the board. 6 in, 6 laps remaining here in heat race number 1. Dave Bodio continues to lead over Chris Forster now, number 14. And you look back at Trevor Edwards, number 32. Forster going to take a peek to the low side. We're door to door for the lead. They're about wrecking. Oh, my God. They almost got turned. Bodia for the second week in a row almost found issues in his heat race. He'll lose the lead to Trevor Edwards, the 32. He'll lead the field off of 2.
That is amazing that those guys were able to keep it straight, but the 14 should still transfer after getting up into the 16 there. They are back now. The 16 is in second, and the 14 all the way back to 4th place.
That is certainly a tough break there out of the gate from battling for the lead. Now back to 4th for Chris Forster's number 14, but running down on laps of this one, and Trevor Edwards looks up and now sees about a full second gap between himself and a guy like Dave Bodio, the winningest driver in the East-West Modified Tour. I believe he's setting about 14 wins unofficially now for number 16, so that's a guy who's going to be really quick. He's got about a second gap back to Steve Rogers, now Chris Forster, and Glenn Pressel, who is back there kind of minding his business early. Well, 99 car finds himself all of a sudden, he runs in the top 5.
Oh, as he gets onto those bumps there in turn 1 and 2, great save by him. He's just cruising there, it looks like. He's taking the high line. You're not going to make any passes out there, but it's great if you just want to hold your position around this track.
Absolutely right. This is a place I've always been a fan of the racing of the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Don't have a whole lot of experience in the open wheel modifieds, but I will tell you what, it's always been a place, it's a good tried and true racetrack. Really, I think no more than maybe a lane and a half of really good, clean racing you can do. So passing here is normally a very tough thing to do as we get the checkered flag already on the field. They're wrecking at turn 1. I completely missed the lap count on there. I think I was in La La Land or wherever I was, but Trevor Edwards taking down the winning heat race number 1. Dave Bodio will finish up 2nd, 3rd for Steve Rogers, 4th Chris Forster, Glenn Pressel, Scott Bryant, Billy Porter, Rick Webster round our 8-car field for heat race number 1. And once again, I want to thank all you guys for tuning in tonight via the Full Velocity Racing Network, all over the place as we normally are, Facebook Live and YouTube and Twitch TV. Got to thank our Our social media director tonight, our buddy, my partner in crime, the legendary Mr. Who's It Gonna Be, Too Tall Todd Stanton, out there tonight manning the Facebook Live, controls to share the links out there. So if you can follow suit with Todd, do us a favor, everybody. Share our link out there. Let everybody know that we are locked and loaded and ready to unleash a float of fury at the Myrtle Beach Speedway tonight. By the grace of God and 650 horsepower, we're about to turn these modifieds loose. We have heat race number 2 on the racetrack. Let's take you through our Voiles Trucking starting lineup with on the pole aboard car number 88. That's going to be Keith Jeffrey with the number 21 of Kyle O'Danick on the outside of row 1. In row number 2, the number 58 of Derek Trowbridge with the 09 of Tyler Chadwick on the outside of row number 2. Tommy Flanagan takes the number 097 now from position number 5 with the number 49 of Jason Perkins on the outside of row 3. John Buckley in the number 61, settled to start off in position number 7, flanked by the number 83 of Adam Jocelyn, the number 3 of Kyle Amon, and the number 4 of Charles Lars, scheduled to be out there. But I believe we only have on a 10-week call. I think I only count 8 of them out there. So I'm not a math major, but I think 8 and 8 is 16. I think we got 16 cars, Jeff. We'll see locked and loaded that we'll see here at a 100-lap main event. So if I got to guess, I think we're all racing as we go to the green flag.
Oh, they are racing away, and it's going to be a good one, I'm sure. You got to keep an eye on that 097 of Tommy Flanagan, though. He actually races these things in real life over in New York. He's a very aggressive driver, and that sometimes leads to his downfall. But when things go well for him, things go really well. As well with Jason Perkins, that is someone that can just consistently click off lap after lap after lap, and he is hard to get around, I can tell you from experience.
I guarantee it, and this is a guy right here I lean on because a guy like myself who's really been disconnected from the real world for about 10 years as far as their online, where even the real racing stuff goes, especially these open wheel cars and upstate and whatnot. I mean, I am really glad to have the guy, the proprietor of the Bottled Up podcast, our friend Jeff McConey, guy, the voice of the pit road at the Stafford Motor Speedway, doing some great things out there, and a very welcome addition to a guy like myself who, not quite as connected as I once was. Always great to bring that voice in who is kind of a part of that old world I used to kind of live in. So glad we got Jeff to lean on all night long as we are working lap number 4 on the Speedway now. Keith Jeffrey leading Kyle O'Danick, Derek Trowbridge, and a guy that really has my eye here, the 09 of Tyler Chadwick. That's another guy over these last couple of years. I read up here in the Northeast as far as guys, running a lot on what is now the Modified Racing Series. Tyler Chadwick's the guy, a ton of talent riding that 09 in 4th.
We had Keith Jeffrey in the wall, actually. I'm not sure what happened there, but he's got up into the wall, and he has now fallen all the way back to 5th place.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know if he got through the bumps in 1 and 2, whatever way that car took an abrupt right out to the outside wall. So Keith Jeffrey, a guy who may have kind of been, feeling that one got away from him last week. Well, he'll have to go to the back of the field, turning the lead over to Kyle O'Danick, the number 21. And a great thing I love about that Mr. 21 car, Griswold, Connecticut, hometown for Mr. O'Danick, which is a very short drive for myself, probably about 20 minutes away. So glad to see a local guy. Well, so they're all a bunch of local guys up here, modified country. But Kyle O'Danick's 21 leads the field down the back chute.
I went back and took a look at it with that 88. He just got real loose off of the turn and just put it up into the wall. No damage, it looks like, but that's going to be interesting to watch for. If after 4 laps he's getting loose like that, I don't know. Maybe some other people are looking at their setups and getting a bit worried. As there's another incident, actually. He gets into the back of Tommy Flanagan after he checked up. So up to 4th position now is Keith Jeffrey as Tommy Flanagan goes for a spin.
Wow, man, Tommy Flanagan going around, I believe, off the back of the 88, and that's 2 really good ones right there, having some issues in heat race number 2, where you are already 10 laps going on the board. Kyle O'Danick lapping the Speedway. Last time around, a 17:37, and this time off turn number 4, he is going to be greeted by the 2 sticks down. 2 laps to go here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Looks like we got a race coming off of turn 4. That John Buckley machine might be under a bit of pressure, but everyone seems to be holding their line at this point. That final transfer position is the 3 of Kyle Am, and Tommy Flanagan is going to have to hope somebody goes around if he wants to make up a 6-second gap in these 2 laps.
That's gonna be tough to do, and we'll see if we have a consolation round or not. I'm really thinking we're gonna go right past that, right into feature racing. But Tommy Flanagan here with this issue in the heat race, gonna have to make a long way from the back of the field to come on through with a 100-lap feature event. But we got Kyle O'Danick under the checkered flag. He will win heat race number 2 aboard cover number 21. Derek Trowbridge in for second. Tyler Chadwick, Keith Jeffrey, Jason Perkins, John Buckley, Kyle Ammon, and Tommy Flanagan rounding out an 8-car field to the Myrtle Beach Speedway. So heat racing action is complete. Let's see where it bounces us on into next. We are going to go past the Consi. We're going to go a 100-lap main event. We are going to go right now. What do you say we throw this thing trackside under a brief pause here? Let's pay honor to this great nation, the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we once were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, back here live inside the Myrtle Beach Speedway, wrapping up what is going to be a quick little test-in tune for these gentlemen. 16 drivers strong, about to take to this .54-mile Myrtle Beach Speedway for 100 laps. And we saw some guys having a little bit of calamity out there in heat racing action, Jeff. What do you think they may be able to adjust on there in this little warm-up to maybe get their cars under control and keep them underneath them for 100 grueling laps around here?
I think at this point you've got to just ride with what you've got. I'm watching some of these lap times. It's mostly just driver input at this point. You're making sure you can drive this setup that you've now built to the maximum capability, because this is not fixed setup. Everyone is running what they've brought. So it's all over the place. You see people getting loose. We saw some cars that were really tight, and we saw when those cars got near each other, sometimes it didn't work out so well with someone going spinning. So drivers are just sort of getting into their mindset now. And if you take a look at Keith Jeffrey, he is running laps within a couple thousandths of each other, back to back to back, just to make sure he's got this thing perfectly tuned in.
I think they're going to, as our last-minute instructions have been given. The cars and the stars of the EastWest Promotions Modified Tour are getting set to grid. Let's see if we can't give us a tremendous version here of a Full Velocity TV starting lineup presented by Voiles Trucking. Tonight on the pole, aboard car number 09, that is Tyler Chadwick, and alongside aboard the number 89, and fidgeting down my sheet here already. Great one here, Phil. In the EastWest Promotions, number 89, that'll be Steve Rogers.
We've got Derek Trowbridge starting in 3rd place, and starting in 4th place as I shuffle through my sheet is Dave Bodio, the number 16, sponsored by the Down and Dirty, powered by Polaris RZR General Tire 4-wheel parts.
Number 21 rolls off next to the East-West Modified Tour from Griswold, Connecticut. That is Kyle O'Danick. And alongside aboard car number 32 also, Midwest Power Source on the side of his race car, Dynamic Auto Sports from Shepherdsville, Kentucky. That is Trevor Edwards.
We've got Chris Forster in the 14, starting 7th, and he is sponsored by Subaru and the Splash and Go graphics crew. Starting in 8th after a bit of a rough heat race is Keith Jeffrey in the number 88.
Number 99 rolling off tonight next. That is Glenn Presselman, and to his outside, aboard car number 49, a sponsor wanted entry from Montville, Connecticut. That is Jay Perkins.
Starting in 9th place, we have Glenn Pressel the 3rd, followed by, in 10th place, we have Jason Perkins too.
Aboard car number 17, that'll be Billy Porter rolling off in position number 13, and alongside, aboard tonight in car number 3, that is Kyle Amon.
Starting in 15th, we have Rick Webster, and right behind him in 16th, next to him, I should say, is the 097 of Tommy Flanagan.
Looks like we.
I'm sorry. Correction to that, Tommy Flanagan did not make the grid, so the top 15, the field is going to be rounded out by the number 18, Rick Webster.
All right, well, we got 15 drivers going to take to this 0.54 mile Myrtle Beach Speedway, 100 laps around. The lights are off around the speedway. It's the Full Velocity Racing Network. We are going balls out, no doubt. iRacingIFlag.com, green flag in the air, and right away to turn number 1 and 2. Pole sitter off the redraw, Tyler Chadwick. He'll lead by 2 car lengths for the first time off the corner.
Dave Bodio had a bold move there. He said, I can go 3 wide and decide against it. Now he's going to try and make the outside work against the 58, but the 32 crosses him up, and he is on the inside there.
And Trevor Edwards doing a really good job here to 32. I believe he was last week's winner we had out here at the EastWest Promotions Tour. Been a long week. We've had a lot of shows. I don't think we had a night break yet since last Thursday night, so I apologize. They're all starting to run together over the course of a week's time, but 32 car doing really good here early. Tyler Chadwick going to lead here through the opening laps now. 2 on the board, working lap number 3. Steve Rogers, a guy who came so close within a lap and a half of winning his first ever online race last week. The 89 car runs 2 car lengths back, holding on to a strong group there for the 3rd spot. That includes that 32 of Edwards looking to the low side.
And right behind him is going to be the 16 of Dave Bodio. So if that 89 gets clear, he's going to want to duck in right behind. But that 16 is saying no, no, no. As he gets to the inside there, looks like he might be able to make a run off of 4. The 89 holds him off, though.
I'll tell you what, 100 laps at Myrtle Beach, it really does seem like it's a kind of a long race. But yeah, I'll tell you what, when you lap this speedway at 17 and a half, and I'll bet you it's going to be down to about 18 seconds a lap soon. For guys like Bodio, O'Danick, who got stuck in that top 6 redraw, there's really no time to let yourself off and make laps and ride. If you've got to take your chances to get up front, like a guy like Dave Bodio right now, he's under that Steven Rogers 89. Dave up to 3rd, but there's no time to ride here, Jeff, is there?
No, not at all. You have to get to the front because as soon as these cars, they get heat in the tires and you get into your mental groove, you're not really picking up time. Once you get to that point, that mental plateau, you're just riding in that position you're in. So these guys need to make as much ground up as they possibly can, as fast as they can, so that if a caution comes out, they're in a good position to hit pit road.
Really do, and we get down toward turn number 1, and we may have a race for the lead brewing as Edwards has chased down the back of the 09 of Tyler Chadwick. It was about 2 car lengths there off turn number 2. Chadwick right for the time, being able to hold off that challenge into 3 and 4. Trevor Edwards is there, and he may exit. He is going to exit 4. New race leader into turn 1 is Trevor Edwards in the 32.
We have a caution out on track now.
First Hanover Wrecker Service caution flag of the evening graced us here at the beautiful Myrtle Beach Speedway on lap number 9. Yellow, yellow, yellow on the speedway. We'll see right away if we can't find what happened and give you a FullVelocityTV.com instant replay presented by J-Max Journeys, our buddies over at J-Max Strong, and Tim Cummings over at CCM Custom Designs and Engraving, our official replay sponsor here tonight. And I believe what we're going to find was it the pole sitter, the number 20, or the pole sitter started 5th, won his heat race. I believe Kyle O'Danick may have went around to this one.
It looks on my end like he is no longer in the race, so he's had some major issues.
Something went amiss there for Kyle O'Danick. I don't know if it was a wreck or did the aliens abduct him. Oh, God, I hope Kyle was okay. That 21 car was bad fast and unfortunately looks like has fallen all the way out of the server. The aliens have abducted Kyle O'Danick. Can we put a page out there? Can somebody find Kyle? I get kind of weirded out when these alien abductions happen, dude. I believe in all that extraterrestrial world and whatnot, and I'll tell you, I really hope they're being kind to Kyle, because, man, we'll let him back.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I'll tell you what is one of the most frustrating things when you're in an esports race and you're running well, and just all of a sudden gone. The aliens show up and you're taken away, but it looks like he's been returned and is now back in the server. So hopefully he will be able to make up some lost time, maybe some generosity, and he'll be put back on the lead lap. Not sure on that though. As it currently sits, he is 3 laps down.
They just took him and took him up in the ship, probably picked what information they want from him, and I guess they're going to send him on back. So Kyle O'Danick will rejoin the race. Yeah, maybe if they're nice, if we're the giving mood here tonight. It is a giving season, of course. Maybe we can't put the 21 car all the way back to the lead lap as we take a look around the landscape there, of course, tonight. Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Want to say hello. I look over to YouTube and I see my old buddy, Mr. Don Dolson, watching over there in YouTube. Don, welcome aboard tonight, bud. Glad to see you out there. Hope all was well. Yeah, this looks like fun. I guarantee it. It's got to be a lot of fun. I absolutely love these race cars. I hope it comes through in my delivery of one of these cars, and then I get an expert, a guy up and coming through the ranks of this business, a guy like Jeff McConey from the Bottle Up Podcast there alongside this evening. I mean, Todd's been my partner a long time, and I love bantering back and forth with him, and you know, our expertise float between asphalt and dirt. But to bring a guy like you, Jeff, into the conversation, who this is real to you. We know what modified racing is all about. I am so thrilled to have your talent aboard here this evening, and I hope we'll do so for a lot bit here these Thursday nights, because I'm really digging the EastWest Modified Tour.
I appreciate it. It means a lot. Your kind words are much appreciated. It's a lot of fun being up here and watching this race. And as the guys get back, they are now double filed. They are getting ready to get back to the green flag. They are now on the backstretch. These pace laps, thankfully, go pretty quickly here. So let's see what happens here on this restart. These guys are going to be in a hurry.
And they are, and it's going to be Trevor Edwards and Tyler Chadwick who lead the field this time. Off turn number 4 is the starter looking over the field, waiting for him to stop that loud pedal down, and we return back under the iRacingIFlag.com green flag, and it's going to be Trevor Edwards who leads the field down to turn number 1 and 2, but by virtue of the inside lane there, third car in line was Dave Bodio. Already that 16 car up to second, and he may look for more. He's got thoughts of the race lead there through 3 and 4.
He gave a good shove to the back bumper there, the 32 coming to the green flag. He wanted to go and make sure he didn't lose that position, and it looks like it worked out for him now.
Sure it is. He is going to pester all over the back of Trevor Edwards there over at turn number 3 and 4. They'll stay single file for the time being. We got racing going on for about 4th, 5th, and 6th, so we find Steve Rogers back here, Derek Trowbridge, Jason Perkins of the 49. That's a really good 3-car battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Also, Glenn Pressel, the 99 car, a good 4-car race for 4th. Nose to tail for the time being, but a couple cars too wide back there. Look, that's Pressel down to the low side.
Yeah, he's looking. He's trying to get around that 99. He's trying to get around Perkins there.
Perkins stuck up high. Oh, somebody was completely gone.
The 99 was invisible there as we've got a wreck further back, it looks like. Oh, they saved it. What a great save by Rick Webster.
I'm going to tell you what, and I don't know how long your background in online sim racing is, Jeff, but I'm going to tell you what. When you're out there touring the speeds these guys are doing, and all of a sudden that car around you completely disappears, you just got that sheer panic that surrounds you. Just if that car was to reappear, you almost worry, is it going to be on my hood? Is it going to be, in the back of my car? Am I going to turn them? I don't know how much experience you have in the sim racing world, man, but when I see a car like that disappear, reappear, I almost pee a little.
Oh, it is absolutely terrifying, and I've done a lot of these tour mod races actually last year in season 19 or 2019 season 4, here on iRacing. I took home most wins, top 5s, laps turned, and laps led in the tour mod series. So I'm well aware with how these cars react, and with other cars near them that just disappear, it gets scary really quick.
All right, I'll tell you what, I ever take a stab and get my gumption up here to try this, I'm picking this guy's ears right here as a teammate. He knows how to do that. I, half the time, can't find my way out of pit road, so I'm glad I got Jeff McConey with me here tonight as Trevor Edwards and Dave Bodio continue to ride nose to tail through turns number 1 and 2. Tyler Chadwick, Steven Rogers, and Derek Trowbridge running in 5th, but there looms large behind them. That number 18 of Keith Jeffrey, he is on the prowl. I believe Keith may arguably have the fastest car on the speedway.
He just held off guys while he was in the outside line. If that's not the fastest car on the speedway, I am terrified for whoever is behind the wheel of a faster car than that. Right here at Myrtle Beach Speedway, that outside line is tough. Once you're out there, you typically lose a couple spots. So to hold off some runs there, especially by Derek Trowbridge, who's a very quick driver, that's impressive, and that's going to mean he's going to go to the front quickly, I think. Derek Trowbridge gets turned there on the backstretch, looked like a racing deal, and he goes around. No caution on the track.
Not at all. No yellow, and tough break for Derek, who was up there in the top 5. Is sure, I'm having issues here. I see a lot of cars start blinking on and off my screen. I think I was just on board with the 09 of Tyler Chadwick, who took me for a ride there through the sky there for a second. So whatever in the world's going on. But Trevor Edwards and Dave Bodio, they've top 2. They've broken away for the time being. And I'll tell you what, Bodio's given a couple of good runs. Edwards has been really good so far, has held them off. And Bodio going to try it again here over in turn 3.
Yeah, they got a 1.3 second lead back to 3rd place. Dave Bodio has over Tyler Chadwick. And Keith Jeffrey has now managed to hit the wall. Steven Rogers is holding him off, and it looks like Jeffrey wants to go to the outside, but it's just not going to work at this track. He has to wait for the 89 to make a mistake and get to the inside there. But it can be very, very frustrating and tedious when you're the fastest car on track, and that mistake just happened, getting a little loose off turn 4, the 89 did, allows Keith Jeffrey to go to the inside in turn 1 and 2, and he will clear him by the backstretch.
Sure will. We have a race to the lead over in turn 3 and 4 now as Bodio has brought himself to the low side of Edwards. They make a little tap to the nerve bars there. They keep it straight, but Dave with that inside lane, he's going to take himself to the race lead. Dave Bodio, new race leader, turn number 1 and 2 is... Even he's got a little blinky blink going on. What in the world? Are we at Area 51? I thought this was Myrtle Beach.
I have no idea, but it looks like things are sorted out as he gives a quick tap to the wall there, but now he's got a lead of about 0.3 seconds over the 32. And those modifieds, a couple tenths means absolutely nothing. You can make that up with just one small mistake by the other guy, so it's going to be great to watch the 16 and the 32. Who's going to crack first, and is it going to be before that 88 gets to them? Because I think he's on the way.
He is certainly on the way. Keith Jeffrey, I believe, fastest car on the racetrack, sitting back there in the middle of the top 5, now running in the 4th spot, trying to chase down the likes of Tyler Chadwick, who got him there 2 car lengths ahead as he's trying to stalk his prey. Looking back here up front, Bodio and Edwards, they have stayed nose to tail as well. I thought the 32 may go away, but it has been anything but. He almost has a thought once again over in 3. He may take a peek to the low side. Bodio slamming that door shut. Wow, that 16 car is solid right now.
The 16 car is certainly solid, but if you take a look at the lap times, he's running about 17.5 and a half, maybe 17.6. But go back and look at Keith Jeffrey, 17.4, 17.4, 17.4. The only thing slowing him down is Tyler Chadwick in front of him, so we have a caution out on track.
Yes, we do. Our second one of the evening graces us on lap number 35. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Brought to you by Hanover Wrecker Service. We slow him down and we'll take a look here under our J-Max Journeys Full Velocity Racing Network instant replay. And I believe we have the number 49 of Jay Perkins. Got up in the outside wall. Did a little pirouette. We've got the Full Velocity Racing Network selfie stick. Jay wanted a little bit more TV time. He went around, so everybody's saying, hey, Jay Perkins, hey. And I believe Jay is in frustration and maybe in shame to get that selfie stick handed to him on Jeff. I believe he may have taken that car and driven straight into the infield. I believe Jay Perkins may have just called it a night.
Yep, he has called it a night, and it looks like pit stops have started here. The 14 might have taken only 2 tires, as Keith Jeffrey is now going to hurry up and get those other 2 tires on, as well as the 32. They've got a good race off of pit road.
I'm going to tell you what, if you're Forster coming down into 14, you'll get a good piece. Kind of got a little bit shafted there by the redraw, had to come on through the field. I don't think a bad time to take 2 tires, 36 laps in 100-lap main event. I'm digging that 2-tire call. Get that track position. Go feel out your race car. You never know. I'm sure they could probably run about, the rest of this race here, 65-plus laps or so. I would imagine on tires you're going to be good. But as fast as they're going, Why not take a shot on 2 tires? What's the worst case? You make it a yellow here later on, and you come down and strap on 4, and then let it all hang out.
Yeah, that is definitely one way to do it. I think the biggest thing that you have to consider is how your car's reacting. We know that Keith Jeffrey's car is a bit loose after he got spun out almost during the heat race. So if he took 2 tires, that car would almost be uncontrollable. I think he made the right call. Take 4, have that. You have the maybe lose a little bit of track position, but you have so much more control over that car. And if this race goes green until the end, which with these drivers it entirely could, he's definitely going to have the advantage on the long run. So it's a bit of a gamble. Do you want to be fast on the short run? But if you're the fastest car on track, I say you go for the long run and make sure that your car is going to be solid and you have plenty of grip all the way around the track.
I want the biggest, look right now of what modified racing looks like as a whole. We're not out there with the big NASCAR pit crews or these big, giant, fast 17, 18-second pit stops. It takes some time to put 4 tires on one of these modifieds when you're not schooled at it. And look at the amount of cars that is taken off the lead lap here, just under this yellow. Derek Trowbridge, Scott Bryan, Rick Webster. They were all the lead lap at the time of caution. They have all come down pit road for 4 tires. They lost a lap. I mean, we're not seasoned to make these big yellow flag pit stops at this rate of speed here in the modified series now, are we?
Absolutely not. And I think some of them might have actually taken fuel. Now, it takes so long to fuel these cars that if you don't uncheck, the fuel, you can easily go a lap down. As they are green again, Keith Jeffrey hangs back a bit. The 32 hangs back as Bodio gets an amazing jump on the field as they now get single file at the front.
Sure do. Bodio there going to jump himself back in line. I believe that's Chris Forster going to lead the field off turn number 2. Glenn Pressel was there. Edwards, Chadwick, Jeffrey, Ammon, Bodio, Rogers, Porter. That's your 9 cars now on the lead lap as we exit turn number 2. Bodio was starting at the back on that one, so may have been an extended pit stop for the 16. He has work to do, but it's Forster. But the use of those 2 just 2 right side tires, he'll lead the field and holding strong there off of 4.
Yeah, and it looks like Glenn Pressel might have some issues. I don't know if he's just stuck on the outside, but Keith Jeffrey is now able to get by him as the 99 is going to fall all the way from 2nd back to 5th, it looks like, by the end of this.
I'm going to tell you what that is right there. That's 2 tires. That's 2 tires on 99. He's stuck up high. Car's not going to turn to get up on those marbles. I'm sure that's misery right now for Glenn.
Yeah, he's trying to get to the inside, but now Dave Bodio is now going to get there. If this 99 just lifts a little bit, he can slide in behind the 88, but when you're out there, you're not thinking, oh, I'll just give up only 1 more position. You're going, I can't give up any more spots. I've got to go, but that's going to prove unfortunate for this 99 here, as it looks like Dave Bodio is going to be able to get around him as well.
That's one of those feast or famine moves, too. You come down there and take 2 tires and gamble on getting that track position. Well, this is the difference with it. Forster up front, leading the way. So far, great call. Pressel, not quite so good, losing all those spots that he tried to gain there while he was on the pit lane. And you now look, Glenn Pressel rides back there in the 5th spot. So not all is lost, but you guys like Bodio and Ammon and Rogers right there. We know those 3 cars are fast. Pressel on 2 tires. He has a task ahead of him as we approach halfway.
Keith Jeffrey, I told you earlier, he is just consistent beyond belief. His last 3 laps, a 17.486, a 17.526, and then another 17.486. And he gets that down now that he's in clean air and getting around the 0.9 at this point, a 17.374, followed by his fastest lap of the race while making a pass, a 17.298. This
Holy
88 car
smokes.
definitely made the right call by going with 4 tires, and he is absolutely tearing up the field, putting down the fastest lap. He is consistently getting faster over the run.
He certainly is. Now up to that 3rd spot and in clean air, but the problem is now you look down the entire distance of the back straightaway. That's where the top 2 sit there with Chris Forster's number 14, Trevor Edwards at number 32. They sit nose to tail. Let's see what the interval here is this time around. 1.4 seconds. Jeffrey out there running 17:37 versus Edwards running a 17:42 and Forster with a 17:43. So Keith Jeffrey, naked eye doesn't lie. That 88 car is humming. Fastest car on the racetrack. Let's see, it goes from 1.4 to, he cut off 2,000. So talk about consistency. Keith Jeffrey right now is a model of it.
I think he is sitting there and hoping that the 32 and the 14 get side by side because if Trevor Edwards, stop snapping loose. Looks like he's a little bit loose there. And if he gets to at least the side of the 14, that's going to slow him down at least 2 tenths at this track. So that's You know, 2/10 doesn't sound like too much, but that means only 7 laps for that 1.4 second gap to be gone to nothing. It's actually down to 1.3. He's already gaining a 10th a lap.
That car is moving.
Another 10th a lap gained, 1.2 seconds on the dot. So in about 12 laps here, we can expect by lap 64, Keith Jeffrey is going to be up there fighting for the lead.
What I think is going to really happen there, I think in about that another 10 or 12 laps, you're going to see how the tires of the 14, that those 2 left side tires may start giving up a little bit, and you may see not only that, but Edwards in the 32 may make a race of it, and that may precipitate a really good battle for 3 cars up front. 88 car, he is on the move at the line this time, 17:38. The interval is down to under 1 second, 9/10 of a second. Keith Jeffrey is just stalking, and you can see the 14 car of Forster. He's got that thing hugged down low, but look at the way it washed up the racetrack. 2 tires not agreeing. Here comes Edwards. He's to the low side. You got to imagine Trevor can look behind him and see the 88 car looming large in his mirror as well.
And I'll tell you what, the worst thing that he can do is sit behind this 14 of Chris Forster. He's got to get around him, but he's got to get around him fast, because the longer they are side by side, that just means Keith Jeffrey is going to get there all that much quicker. He was on the inside, seemed like he had to back off a little bit to keep control of the car. It's really getting tough out there now for these guys. Their tires have heat in them. They're starting to feel the mental strain of 56 laps turned. It's going to be interesting here, but he's got to hope that 14 makes a mistake and doesn't take him out in the process.
Absolutely right. They're nose to tail, but what was a 2-car race up front is now definitely a 3-car race. Is any kind of sniff of hole in the air that they're pushing right now. Keith Jeffrey is there, 0.6 of a second last time by. I think it's going to shrink there to just about a half as we get to the start finish line, 0.54. So he is definitely cutting into it. He is there within 3 car lengths. Edwards can't waste no time now. If he's got a run to make at Forster, he has to do it now, because if Jeffrey gets there and this thing stays green, I believe it's only academic. Keith Jeffrey with that race car, we've seen him make moves and passes and, create speed in the high lane. That car is definitely zooming right now, and I got to imagine it's going to be no time at all before he is up there mixing up with Edwards and maybe even Forster for the race lead.
You're exactly right, and here's the thing. He's running about half a lane up on the track. He's not pushing his car. He knows he doesn't have to. He is just like a machine. Click, click, click off laps. You know you're faster than them. You don't have to do anything risky. You don't need to get anywhere close to the bottom of turns 1 and 2, get into those bumps. You just have to sit and wait, and to get a run on that 32, which will take you right past the 14, as now they are side by side for the lead. The 32 knows that the 88 is there, and he has to get out front.
I don't think he can afford to lift in this run over turn 3 and 4. He drives it in really deep. Forster slams the door shut. They stay door to door off turn 4. Keith Jeffrey is there as well. And we know the idiot's got some speed up high, but can he possibly make this work? I don't know. Maybe there's patience, a better part of valor here. Edwards going to stay low. What lane does Jeffrey go to? Does he potentially think about picking his 3 wide? You can't go 3 wide at Myrtle Beach, can you?
Oh my gosh, no, you really can't, unless you've got a car that can haul it on the outside, haul the mail. But it looks like the 88 sees that these guys are banging fenders, making contact. I think he's going to hang back a bit, give him a car length or 2, let them fight it out. You know you're faster than them. You don't have to do anything crazy yet. What's the Keith Jeffrey advantage is he is patient. He knows he can wait. He's got 36 laps to just chill back there. But once he gets a run and they're single file like they are now, he can take advantage of it, get by the 32, get by the 14, and then let them fight their battle.
Absolutely right. Now, we're watching this really good battle rage in the top 3, and I have watched a little race going on back here for 4th between Tyler Chadwick and Dave Bodio. It has been a really good one. I thought Bodio may have been clear at Chadwick and may begin to start running down this top 3 if they got racing up front, but instead of getting in line and running them down, Bodio and Chadwick, they have really gone at it. The 09 back on the outside lane. That's a really good race going on back here from 4th, 5th, and 6th as well. All the highlights and everything goes to the lead. Well, we have a car around. Chadwick's around off turn 2. And that's going to put us back under yellow in this amazing 3-car race we've seen up front is now going to slow down. And that is going to force decision time. Are these guys going to all come to pit road? Does guys like Jeffrey or Edwards, can they put on 2 versus a guy like Forster, if he comes down, he can't afford another 2-tire stop, can he?
Oh, I don't know. You've made your bed and you have to lie in it at this point. I think if you are the top 4, you're going to want to take 4 tires. But if you're back there, maybe you took 4 tires on the last stop, you're going to want to maybe take 2. Get that track position and see if you can hold off Keith Jeffrey. But it's going to be very, very interesting now to watch. And if you're those guys a lap down, take the wave around. I say absolutely take the wave around, get back on the lead lap, and see what happens. Hope for a quick caution.
You got to bet on that track position if you can get it, indeed. And I looked down here on the pit lane, and I saw
2
Keith Jeffrey
tires.
amongst all the tires. Keith Jeffrey, he went for 2 tires. Now, see, that's the call I think you make right there to get that position back up to the lead. I believe Forster took 4. Wow.
I don't know if I agree with that call.
Wow.
If you're Keith Jeffrey, you're sitting in 3rd place. You think you're going to come back out in 3rd place. You're the fastest car on track. Man, I would have taken 4 there, but he's the one behind the wheel. Let's see how this goes.
And that is a developing story there, as we have another story down from pit road. The 09 Tyler Chadwick, who spun on the inside wall. There was something broken in the suspension. And Tyler Chadwick, one of the heavy hitters over here at the EastWest Modified Tour, out of the event, behind the wall, and unofficially, I believe he's going to finish up with about a 13th place finish. So that is a tough, tough break. Tyler really had a good run going, and I believe it was him and Dave Bodio who kind of had a little tad bit contact. It was good hard racing contact. There wasn't nothing, I don't think, facetious about it. They were just getting after it here, getting 2/3 the way in, and unfortunately we lost a really good driver there with Chadwick now behind the wall.
Yeah, Chadwick got a little bit loose in 1 and 2, started to go around, he was saving it, and then Bodio got into the back of him. No fault of anybody there, it was just a racing deal, but yeah, it looks like he had a lot of front left damage there. I'm taking a look at the in-car camera, and his wheel is at about 10 o'clock, and when your toe is knocked out that badly, these cars are almost undrivable.
It really is. There's no fenders protecting him. You hit a little bit of contact in one of these open wheel, ground pounding wheel and modifieds. Yeah, you bend up anything at all, they're not going to turn for doo-doo. And I'll tell you what, I don't care how big the tire is on, but as we get 1 to go around the speedway, man, look at the way this lineup has kind of changed now, with Keith Jeffrey with 2 tires going to assume himself now in command of the field over Steve Rogers, Chris Forster, Dave Bodio, and look back in 5th. Trevor Edwards, number 32. He has 4 fresh skins on that thing, but now we're going to restart 5th with under 30 laps remaining. That's a lot of work to do in a short time to get there. Is Trevor Edwards have the piece to run his way back down and maybe chase down a guy like Keith Jeffrey, who we know has had a tremendous amount of speed in that 88 car?
He gets a great restart as the outside line gets checked up. Dave Bodio got into the back of the 89. Well, doesn't look like any damage, but they're 3 wide going there. That's not going to work, Dave, as he saves the car somehow. Oh, my goodness. What spectacular driving.
Yeah, 3 wide. I usually say who is going to get fried, and somebody did, because we got a yellow on the speedway, and I'm not sure if that was a car around. They kind of go out of my view over there off turn number 2. Let me see if I can get it all fixed up, but caution, caution, caution on the racetrack for the 4th time. Lap number 73. Head of a record service caution flag number 4. And I believe was that the Glenn Presso number 99 that went around. And we have a turtle. And you do not want to be a TDR Racing League turtle, because that means you are wheel side up looking at the sky. And last time I checked, Jeff, if you're not wheels on the ground, you probably got no traction, and that right there is what we call the TDR Racing League turtle. Tough break for Glenn Presso, because he's not getting no traction that way.
Yeah, extremely tough break. Looked like he saw that incident going on in front of him that we were commenting on, got cut off there and just hard on the brakes, and it spun the car around. A bad break by his setting, it looks like. That got him sideways. Took a hard hit from the back, sent him into the wall, and sent him over the top. That engine's blown. He's out of this race.
Engine is all tore up, and I don't think they have a quick repair on an engine, so yeah, I got to imagine Glenn Presso's going to have to come down. We got towed back to the pit lane. They'll flip the car over, and man, that definitely stinks for a guy who was up there running in the top 10 with the number 99. But now we just kind of, let that suspense kind of keep building. 3/4 the way in, 75 laps, so 100 on the board. Keith Jeffrey leading now. Chris Forster, Trevor Edwards up to 3rd with 4 fresh skins. Dave Bodio, Steve Rogers. That's our Kurt top 5. Kyle Ammett, a great run tonight for the 3-car. Kyle back there in 6th. Rick Webster is 7th. Billy Porter 8th. Derek Trowbridge is 9th, and John Buckley. Haven't talked much about the 61 car. John out there 2 laps down, but finds himself currently in the top 10. And I'm going to tell you what, I don't care if you got 16 cars here or not. A top 10 with the group of drivers they have here in these modifieds, that's a night of good work right there.
That's almost a win in my book, man. When I was running this race, if I finished top 10, that was a good night.
I'll take it anytime. I'll take a top 10 anything I do. I just hope sometimes I go out there and race, I could be racing by myself, and I probably figure out how to lose. I still just want a top 10.
Yeah, you're right. And it looks like Race Control has deemed the 99 at fault for that incident. He's claimed responsibility. He was given an EOL penalty, which they keep track of there in the series, and he is out of this race.
Absolutely right. You want to go back and, watch these ones back, or even be a part of getting the race recaps that Keith and Kyle and the gang do over here at EastWest Promotions. They're a great follow on Facebook. Look them up today, EastWest Promotions. They keep a lot of things updated. They welcome their drivers in. They really do a hell of a job here in this series. I don't know if there's a better Wayland Modified League out there, but we are certainly thrilled to have this one here every Thursday night on your source for esports racing, the Full Velocity Racing Network. And we come to you as usual, Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch TV, getting ready to go back under the iRacingIFlag.com green flag on lap number 77. Keith Jeffrey stops the lot pedal down, and he'll lead the way with a single file start over in turn 1.
Yeah, like you said, a single file start, and it looks like he got the jump over the 14, so it's going to be a good race here on back. This is what makes it difficult for these guys, though. They start single file. There's really no advantage to being in, an odd-numbered position. As the 89 gets up into the wall, gets his right front up in the air, maybe knock the toe in a bit, see how that car handles afterwards. But you lose that advantage. If you have an odd-numbered starting spot, you're starting on the inside, you can probably gain a position or two there. Starting single file, this is now just the best of the best who can dominate this race for the last 21 laps.
And it takes you back a long time. Remember yesteryear when, NASCAR and any series had no such thing? Once the race started, it was single file restarts all night, lap cars to the bottom. Well, I think we've taken for granted how exciting racing gets with a double file restart. But I'll tell you what, I love the single files here on the short tracks, because when you start too wide, I really believe the guy who sits at the outside of the front row is almost at a place like this to a disadvantage. You hate it. It was guys like Chris Forster who restarted second, a good piece. Now with this benefit of a single file start, he's got clean racetrack to make a move on the leader, but he is under fire now because look who has found their way to the low side. None other that number 32 car of Trevor Edwards, trying to reclaim second. They're door-to-door on the floor.
What a great save
Wow.
for the 14 as the 89 gets into the back of him. There was a bit of contact there from the 32, and the 89 seems to have caught the poor end of it as he got into the back of the 14 and lost the car.
Sure did. Around and round goes Steven Rogers, number 89. You saw him do this a week ago out of the race lead late. And hate to see it up there as they were racing in the top 5, but it really shows the handful these race cars can be when, I don't care how big the tires are, these get a little wee bit out of shape. You don't have all the downforce of all those big high fenders and fins and spoilers. They break loose. They're a handful to drive, and I think you see it right there. Steve, he did nothing wrong. He tried to let out of it, let Chris catch it. Chris caught it, but just by offsetting the balance, around the knock goes Steve Rogers. He'll spin his way out of 5th, and that's a tough break. 2 weeks in a row, he may have evaporated a top 5 run here really late.
Yeah, these cars, I'll tell you what, they're tough to drive. When they get into their line and you're in your groove mentally and you're just clicking off laps, if anything breaks that, it's tough to save the car. And when these cars get sideways, it's so hard to get them straight again. A lot of times, you just have to lift, let the car sort of catch itself, right itself, and get it going straight again. But there's not much time here at Myrtle Beach when you have such a narrow track. As soon as you're sideways, you're in the grass. And once you're in the grass, you're done. So, unfortunately, he's going to go out from 5th place, and he's going to fall all the way back, looks like, to 8th at this point. So, hopefully not too much damage on that car. But he's still got a fast one. He can fight his way back up to the front, I think.
He certainly can. The debate is right now, they're really talking about it here. I got race control. I'm sure you can hear them as well, going back and forth. I think the discussion here under the yellow flag is Steve going to the rear of the field. I'm not sure there was contact there avoidable there. I think he did all he could do to keep from spinning the 14 car around, just an innocent bystander there. Steve, wrong place, wrong time. Sometimes really bad racing luck happens. And it caught the 89 car that time right there. I feel bad he may go to the rear, but I'm not sure there's much he could do. I think that was kind of unavoidable.
Yeah, I agree. If anything, maybe the 32 could get a warning for making contact with them, but realistically speaking, and it looks like, yeah, John Buckley has been given an EOL. Not sure what that is for, but it's difficult in these cars because you don't really have an idea of where the side of the car is except for running them. You have this Nerf bar sticking out the side, and sometimes you just bump into somebody without even realizing it. I think 100% you got to call that a racing deal.
I've got a theory on this EOLL, and I could be way wrong, but I believe what they're doing is they're putting all the lead lap cars at the front, and I look and I see John Buckley running back there in 10th, and if my eyes deceive me, he is the final car on the racetrack running out there 2 laps down, so this could be a way to keep the top 9 on the lead lap all nose to tail, let them race it out for the win. Not a bad idea at no measure at all. I think that's what we're saying, and what we're doing right there is leaving John now getting waved around back to 1 lap down. So I don't care. Final car out there getting a top 10, you take it. That's a night of work.
Oh, yeah, and they are now 2 wide again. They're going back to a double file restart. Dave Bodio on the inside, right behind Keith Jeffrey. That's going to be exciting to watch as they get ready to come off turn 4 here. You got to think that Keith Jeffrey car is going to get another great restart like he's gotten the last 2. And he does easily clears the 32, and Bodio looks like he has that front bumper under the 32. He's going to lift a little bit to get that 32 in line, but maybe a tap to the back bumper as a warning of, hey, man, I'm here. We got 12 laps to go. I can't afford to lose any more spots.
Oh, you really can. You got the 88 car out front now trying to do all he can do. And I'm going to tell you what, that evasive maneuver made there for the 32 to stay in the second position, well, it's about time to get defensive like that. Keep that 16 of Bodia behind you as David O, a good piece, probably has redemption on his mind after probably feeling like he had one taken from him last week. He'll ride along in third, and now to the inside, the 16. Bodia versus Edwards. They're door-to-door off of 2.
Edwards got a little bit loose, and then he gets up into the wall with a tap from Bodio, and the caution is out on track.
That's a weird, yeah, unless I'm missing a car around, that was a weird yellow to throw out there, but they definitely do have it out, as we saw good racing off turn number 2, and I do kind of like to almost call this as we see, but I really feel that Trevor may have been, just kind of crowded up on the wall there, but I'm not sure if debris happened or we may have had a car go around. It's a wreck. Jack's telling me it's a wreck, and I believe, is that the 89 of Steve Rogers involved again with the number 17 of Billy Porter? They came together with a disagreement of space, and we have another yellow flag here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Oh, yeah, the 58 sort of overdrove the corner. The 89 had to check up hard, got into those bumps down in turn 1 and 2. That knocked him all out of shape, and the 18, got into the back of him, collected the 17 in it. That's some blown engines right there. The 89 is going to be out of this race, probably the 17 and 18 as well. Those were 3 hard hits to the wall.
I'm going to tell you what, I'm looking down here in the pit lane, and I saw right side tires, some work going on the Trevor Edwards number 32. Now, that is a car who has been a rocket all night long. He puts fresh tires on, and I'm going to tell you what, we go back years ago, a guy like, you and I know well, I remember the late, great Teddy Christopher coming in late after being involved in a late wreck, getting 4 tires on. Trevor Edwards may turn into the modern-day TC here. He may be a superhero on 4 tires, going to restart back there in 7th with less than 10 laps to go. I'm telling you, Jeff, put your boots on. Things are about to get exciting.
I don't know. It's going to need to be a Herculean effort because Dave Bodio put down a 17:148 on lap 90.
Holy.
That's his fastest of the race. Yeah, that is an incredibly fast lap. So, and on lap 90, that same lap, Keith Jeffrey beat him with a 17:144. These cars are faster than they've been all night. They're driving as hard as they possibly can. I don't know. I don't think you can make a run and pass that many cars starting in 7th place and get up to the front here, especially with the 88 and the 16 that are going to be fighting it out here at the front.
Wow, I'm looking at those lap times, and I'm sitting here stunned because those lap times right now, well, You think all the way back about 1 hour ago during time trials, that would have put those cars on the front row as well. So even as much speed as they had 100 laps ago, Dave Bodio and Keith Jeffrey, they are on the money right now, and that is going to be our front row as the lights are extinguished around this .54 half mile, the Myrtle Beach Speedway, and we're about to settle this one in a blaze of glory and fun and thunder like we only find here on the Full Velocity Racing Network. And man, they are locked up and we are loaded for bear. I am almost just gritting my teeth as to what's going to happen here. We know that's teammates up front. You look behind, you got Chris Forster. Do not count out that 3-car, Kyle Ammon. If they get together up front, that 3-car may be in the best seat in the house, maybe sneak his way around. Don't count that 3-car out. He may be in victory lane here in 3 laps.
Looks like it's going to be a battle for third place, though, as the 14 gets to the inside of Dave Bodio, pushes him up the track. He's fighting for second place. I think Bodio might come out of this one with the advantage, but this is Keith Jeffrey's race to lose. 4 laps to go as Bodio gets a little bit loose on the high side there. Keith Jeffrey knows he can just go and click off laps here.
And he's got clean racetrack and a superb race car. So as fast as they've been driving around this joint all night long, Keith Jeffrey going to extend his advantage out to 3-4 car lengths over in turns number 3 and 4 as we complete lap number 97. We got 3 laps remaining here. And look at lap time last time by. Keith Jeffrey 17:20, 17:30 for Dave Bodio. Jeffrey is driving away, and this time by, greeted by the 2 to go signal from the start stand. And now this time, white flag going in the air.
I think it's amazing. I mentioned it earlier, just how patient and consistent he is. He started a little bit further back in the field, and he just knew he had to be consistent, keep that car clean, and now coming off of turn 4, your winner for tonight, Keith Jeffrey takes home the win. Dave Bodio in second, followed by the 14 and Chris Forster in third. Oh, I'm sorry, there was a pass at the line.
It was.
The number 3, Kyle Ammon, takes third place. Amazing.
Forster got on the wall through 3 and 4. Kyle Ammon steals a top 3. Chris Forster, Derek Trowbridge, Trevor Edwards, Billy Porter, John Buckley, Rick Webster, Steve Rodders will make up our top 10 here tonight. Glenn Pressel grabs 11th. Scott Bryant for 12th. Tyler Chadwick 13th. Jason Perkins 14th. And Kyle O'Danick round out our 15 cars for the feature. Keith Jeffrey was a guy on a mission here tonight, and he picks up the big win at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. We will talk to him and the remainder of our top 3 next on the post-race show, presented by BladeNo.com. We're going to hop over to Discord for EastWest Promotions, and we will catch up with our top 3 next. Don't go anywhere.
Sound muted.
All right, back here live on your source for esports racing, the Full Velocity Racing Network, live tonight at the Myrtle Beach Speedway, where Keith Jeffrey is tonight's big winner through a 100-lap main event. Second place goes to Dave Bodio. Third, Kyle Ammon, who I do not see over here in the Discord. So what we'll do now, I'll throw this to my broadcast colleague, Mr. Jeff McConey. I believe he's caught up a second place, Dave Bodio down.
We have not. He's not here in the green room. Or not here.
We're working on that.
We are working on getting him in, but he had a phenomenal race. Started in 4th, got up to 2nd, and here he is, Dave Bodio, second place finisher. You started 4th place on the night. First off, congratulations on a fantastic run there. That's it's tough to make passes there at Myrtle Beach, and starting on the outside there. The first thing I want to ask is a theoretical question. Do you think if you had started on the inside, the positions were swapped, that you would have taken home the win there against Keith Jeffrey?
I don't know. Keith was fast, especially there on that long run that we had. Yeah, he really pulled away from me there quite a bit. I think he was doing pretty good tonight.
He absolutely was, and you seem to be having a pretty fantastic race yourself. You guys were at lap 90, were within a couple hundredths of each other, not tenths, hundreds of each other. So two almost equal cars. You had a fantastic run out there. How much did the track change over the course of the run, and what impact did it have being faster actually at the end of the race instead of at the beginning, and how you were approaching that getting to the checkered flag?
The track actually changed quite a bit tonight, and track position also made a pretty big difference tonight too. We were talking about it in Discord during the race. It was like the car was great when I was in second place, and as soon as I got to the lead there early on, it just got all kinds of free, and it was the same for Trevor. So it was just kind of staying on top of where we were, track position, and then as it was cooling off throughout the night.
Right. And the last thing that I want to ask before we let you go to all your sponsors and everything is we noticed a lot of cars getting loose over the long run. And even when they put new tires on, cars were just snapping loose like crazy out there. Did you have that with your car, and how did you counter it?
Oh yeah, yeah. You had to be real gentle with the throttle off the corners, or else you get sideways. There towards the end, I tightened it up, and then I was also being a little throttle happy and just starting to get a little free off. But the dirt in me comes out.
The dirt racer in you. So who do you have to thank for getting you that car up to second place that night?
Everyone at Jim Beaver Esports, General Tire, Jim Beaver's Down Dirty Radio Show, Dirtfish, Super ATV, Rigid Industries, LED Lighting, Gibson Performance Exhaust, Polaris Razor, Four Wheel Parts, Impact Helmets, Vision Wheels, '07 Design, and Sans Racing Fabrication.
Certainly a lot of
That's a
sponsors.
mouthful.
Yeah, certainly a lot of sponsors there to thank, but they did a great job helping you get to second place there. Congratulations on a fantastic run tonight, Dave.
Thank you. Congrats, Keith, too.
All right, well, we're going to let Jeff off the hook there. He got Dave Bodio down there trackside. I'm going to give you one more. That was so good right there. I'm going to let you do it again. I believe Kyle Ammon may have also jumped in the Discord, Jeff, so I'm going to put you on the spy, being the old pro you are there. Kyle Ammon, our third place finisher, he's down there trackside.
Kyle, you had a fantastic race there. You were actually you gained the most positions out of anybody. You started all the way back in 14th and made your way up to third. What happened? What got you so much more speed there over the course of the run? In practice, your fastest lap was a 17:478, and by the end of the race, you were turning some pretty quick times there. So how much did we talked about earlier with Dave, how much did the track changing impact how you were driving the car there?
I really didn't change that much. Just tried to just stay square and get good drives up off. Just changed some gear, and that was about it.
And it seems like consistency would end up being key here. You were just there the entire race, keeping the car clean. You had a couple close calls, and actually an incident over in turn 4 where Forster caught the inside wall, and you made one of the very few passes on the outside of the night. So what did you notice the most with this track in the wrecks and everything else that was going on? What did you find to be like the common factor over everything that was going on?
Just trying to just try to drive the car easy, get up off the corner, not spin the tires, get in easy, just let the car roll through the center. I was just really.
Right, and you seem to have a really fantastic run. Consistency proved to be key over the 100 laps. Just keep the car clean, and you can easily go and gain 11 spots from 14th to 3rd. Who do you have to thank for getting you all the way up there tonight?
Not really many people. Just gotta thank the boys back at the shop, and they keep buzzing every night, and just keep.
And there you go. Just keep working. A great motto for a race team. Congratulations on a fantastic run here tonight. You did a great job.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.
You as well.
All right, there we have it down there trackside. Tonight's third place finisher aboard car number 3, Kyle Ammon, who grabbed a solid top 3, running a job well done by him. And we'll walk it down to BladeNo.com. Victory Lane, we talked to the man with the plan aboard car number 88, Keith Jeffrey, claiming a checkered flag here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Jeff, or Keith, a tremendously good race car. You had to earn this one for a little while tonight. You seem like you had to overcome traffic in front of you all evening. Car was a rocket, buddy. Tell us about your drive.
You couldn't have said it better. Car was a rocket, man. I had to start in the back of that from an incident in the heat race, and I knew it was going to just have to be I was gonna have to be methodical and take my time, but I knew early on that I could just roll the top and drive right around guys. So the guys at Jim Beaver Esports gave me just an absolute fantastic car tonight.
I gotta say, we would expect a place like Myrtle Beach to start chewing up equipment, chewing up tires. You guys may slow down as the temps go up or whatever, but I'll tell you what. We look here 90 laps into the race, and you and Mr. Bodio are doing laps out, or not only equivalent to, but better than the times you put up there in qualifying. Where did you find the magic to put car, a 17 flat, 90 laps into a race? That's not heard of, man. Where'd you find that that big speed from?
It was time to go. I mean, I knew Dave and Trevor, some of those guys, they're no joke. Chris Forster. I knew I was going to have to be perfect, as good as my car was. Those guys are some of the best in the business on here, and it was going to take everything to beat them. So it was time to go, like I said.
Now, as fast as that race car was here tonight, you were one of the few drivers we noticed that was able to put the car in the outside lane, make speed, make time, and complete passes on a racetrack that's notoriously not much better than one-lane track. How'd you make that work, and was that something you found in practice, how to make that car handle up?
Yeah, it's definitely something I was conscious of in practice, and just we've raced here a couple times now, and just kind of going back in the notebook and knowing what worked and what I needed, what the feel I needed for late in the race to do that, because it could get tough on the bottom, and you can get pinched down a little bit. So I knew if I could roll the outside and make progress there, that would be really beneficial, especially when I ended up having to go to the back there for the start. So it was definitely something we were conscious of as a team. I don't think anybody likes trying to roll the top more than Dave Bodio, so it's something we're always working on together.
Well, that's a true dirt guy and Dave right there, letting it roll on the outside. But Keith, you pulled the 88 car in a victory lane here tonight. Now, I know any better of the Jim Beaver Esports team. I know Dave was just here with us as well. He had the sponsor Rolodex out there. That little notepad was about 3 sheets long, so I bet you have a ton of people behind you as well to thank, buddy. So let me give you the mic one more time and thank all these people that help you make these cars go so quick.
Yeah, I do. It's a special thing we got going on here with the real life joining the virtual world here. But General Tire, Dirtfish, Super ATV, Rigid Industries, Gibson Exhaust, Polaris Razor, Four Wheel Parts, all of them, Impact Helmets, Vision Wheels, 07 Designs, Matt Everhart makes some beautiful cars for us. And then just all the guys back at the shop, Jim Beaver Esports. It's been a blast. We're having a lot of fun right now.
I bet they are. These cars are terrific fast, and that is tonight's race winner here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway, Mr. Keith Jeffrey aboard car number 88. I will tell you what, Jeff, these guys never, ever, ever disappoint in putting on a good show, and Keith, who's notoriously shown week after week one of the fastest cars, not the fastest car out there, finally puts the capitalization on it with the exclamation point. He takes the big win down here at the beach.
It was amazing to watch, and Keith, we were saying it up here in the booth. Patience is a virtue. You just seem to be the most patient driver out there. When the 32 and the 14 were battling in front of you, what I found most amazing as a driver myself was that you backed off, you gave them that space they needed as they were bumping into each other, and had basically the brains to let them battle it out, and then you can make the move later. I know it's so easy as a driver. I'm guilty of it 9.999 times out of 10 that I would just go in there and try and push the issue. But that was really impressive to be able to hold back and continuously make the smart moves and bring yourself to victory lane. Congratulations on it.
Thanks, man.
All right, well, that'll do it for tonight here for us on the Myrtle Beach Speedway. For all the gang over here at the EastWest Promotions, got to thank Keith and Kyle and all the group over here, Dave, for what he does as well. Got to thank Jack Chewin for his help tonight. Thank you so much, Jeff McConey, buddy. This is a lot of fun. Let's do this again sometime, partner. What do you think?
That sounds great to me. Sounds like a fantastic plan. Thank you so much for having me. I had an absolute blast calling a race. I've called plenty of them in real life from pit road, but calling them from up in the booth, even online, it's something else. It's a lot of fun. So thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Whatever we can do to help and further your career, buddy. We are all for it. Congratulations with all the success of the Bottled Up podcast. So for all the gang here at the network, of course, Jack, Jeff, Todd Stanton, Ron Piles, everybody else here, our great sponsors, of course. Head of Record Service going away after tonight. Tyler, thank for all you do. We'll call you out ISO here tonight. Thank you so much, Ty, for all you've done for us here on your source for esports racing from the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Good night, everybody.